Hello, Heroja Shipe here. Whoa, giving in a bit of a rant. Need to get it off my chest so I can have a good holiday. So sorry if this ends up ruining your holiday. It's not my intent. I just kind of want to speak, I guess, into the void. Let this out. Let the spirits out, as they say. Um, so with this whole dilemma with the Bitcoin fees and the lack of adoption on the part of many Bitcoin businesses and developers, the fact that 10% of only SegWit transactions are occurring on the Bitcoin blockchain, even though there's a number of exchanges and wallets that are using SegWit addresses, but not enough of them are, that is causing some of these issues with the Bitcoin fees. It made me think about the whole concept of the soft fork. Now I understand the whole purpose of the soft fork was to get consensus, to prevent a chain split, but it made me think of the various other systems because of updates. For example, Windows. Windows 7, still like 7% of systems out there have Windows 7. We saw that earlier this year with WannaCry and that vulnerability. People are still running their businesses with Windows XP. The lack of update when it occurred with the Apache server that caused the Equafax breach made me think about the fact that with soft forks you don't have to update if you choose not to, and that there will be future soft forks when it comes to enabling like privacy or Lightning Network or shortener signatures. What is that going to do to the Bitcoin protocol when we have a series of updates and the lack of people updating, with these businesses being holding out because they don't want to update the SegWit address because they're either for, Bitcoin Cash, or for whatever reason they're slow footing it? What would that do to the Bitcoin community? And it made me think that maybe we need to really seriously reevaluate hard forks, because if we're 3 years from now and we still have a significant, or even a year from now, a significant lack of progress when it comes to SegWit addresses on the network, what is that going to do for things that are really necessary, that people want, which is privacy, shortener signatures, Lightning Network? What is that going to do to the protocol? What is that going to do to the community? Are there going to be enough businesses and exchanges, even decentralized exchanges, that are going to rise up to counter this lack of movement and development by a number of these stakeholders, these merchants and exchanges that won't update, that don't want to update for political or economic reasons? Are we going to have to reevaluate how we view hard forks, to where we make it a requirement that in order to continue on the Bitcoin protocol, you have to, update to have shortener signatures to be able to transact on Bitcoin, to be able to do development? I mean, are we going to have like these different class tiers of non-SegWit users, non-shortener users, non-Lightning users, non-this, and that, and the bulk of them being maybe, even if it's 40% of the network, what that will do to the network if it keeps it bogged down and doesn't allow Bitcoin to reach its potential? And so it made me think, because it's, human nature, that's a human factor that we can't, no matter how well the code is built, cannot be unfactored out. Do we have to go to hard forks? Are we going to have to hard fork the network? And could Bitcoin survive another chain split? What that doesn't mean, maybe even a couple of different chain splits. There's still that rumor that Bitcoin 2x is stolen. So it's a little frustrating, because I want the crypto space to progress. I want cryptocurrency to supplant the current economic system, but when you have already this behavior where people are not willing to update, and you see that with Windows, you see that with major businesses, with Apache servers months out and having that vulnerability there and getting hit. Now, I'm not sure what the attack vector would be with the lack of SegWit adoption, or when shortening signatures are rolled out, or Lightning Network would be, if people can steal people's Bitcoins or break the protocol or something like that. I don't think that is a vulnerability. I think the vulnerability is the lack of progression, the usage of Bitcoin as a currency, as a payment platform, as a communication device. It's going to get bogged down and slowed down, and more people are going to utilize other coins. I'm not a big against that per se, but I don't want it to be to the detriment of an already existing platform. I want people to have the choice if they choose to use, either Lightning or Dash because they want to, not because it's the only other option available for what they need to do because of the lack of progression within the Bitcoin space. And so, thinking of the new year, if you will, and thinking what can be done, maybe as a community we need to revisit the concept of a hard fork if we want to progress Bitcoin further, because it's very annoying, it's very irritating. I'm all about volunteerism and choices, but if these major stakeholders, these Franken Coinbase, Bitpay are holding things back because they want to use something different, and because they have such a dominant factor at this point in time, and will be for the next year or two, for anyone to really chip away that dominance. How much of that is going to throttle Bitcoin more so than anything that government can do or any malicious actor can do? I mean, well, this could be considered malicious actors, but anything super nefarious that's breaking the protocol or stealing people's coins, or just causing a Mt. Gox effect that will cause the price to plummet. Looking at Jupiter Connect, even Tether to some extent. Something like a scandal like that, the lack adoption of SegWit, or the lack of development in that area at this point in time. Has been 5 months now, and while there's quite a few wallets and exchanges that have SegWit, I don't think it's enough to, if considering that it's only 10% of the network transactions, to progress and affect the fee market, if you will. Also, we need more development in the mining space, if you will, to kind of break up these cartels that are forming and have formed, to have these stakeholders not have such a sway beyond the whole protecting against the 51% attack. There's a lot that needs to be done. There's a lot of work that people are doing to get this development, and I think it's just we need to put forth more effort on part of the community, either support these projects either with our Bitcoin or with our feet, or start breaking out a code book. I'm not a developer myself, but I'm seriously thinking about breaking out a code book and learning to code myself to have, maybe a better node implementation, or a better wallet provider, or a better exchange provider, or someone has, a better customer service sense, as my way of contributing in some fashion to the issue or problem at hand. I had a thought and it's escaping me. Soft forks, miners, companies, stakeholders, volunteerism. Yeah, it's going to come to me as soon as I end this stream. Maybe it's not much of a rant, it's just random thoughtness, vomit of thoughts, but yeah, maybe we need to reevaluate the hard fork issue to get Bitcoin to progress further. Maybe that's not the solution. Maybe with 2018, we'll see, probably by February, so many SegWit addresses, so many exchanges and decentralized exchanges, and movement away from the current existing companies. Enough of these companies will be in the marketplace that it will shift the discussion and will shift and push companies to adapt SegWit addresses or find a better way to address the fee issue. I think that's pretty much it as far as my discussion about soft forks. I don't want to see 3 years from now when we have Lightning Network is shorted in their signatures and we see a protocol where you have people or wallets or exchanges or even payment service providers that are really like 3 updates behind, and people are still using it because there's so many noobs in the space. People think this is just the way it is, when in fact it's not the way it is. It could be better. I think we need to do a stronger effort of educating noobs and getting more basic 101 how-to tutorials out there, more blog posts, more meetups being developed, things of that nature. I'm going to do my end of the year thing where I can talk about how you can participate in helping cryptocurrency expand. But just as my thoughts about just seeing it and thinking about the Apache update, how there's still Windows XPs running on systems, Windows 7s running the backbone of ATM machines and different businesses and servers, and how they don't necessarily have to update because they can internally keep their particular programming going, but there's so many different vulnerabilities that they're getting hit, as WannaCry has demonstrated. And a lot of that has to do with the NSA and the backdoor stuff. So far, Bitcoin has demonstrated that they have not yet been attacked by a backdoor way, but we are built upon the existing internet infrastructure. So there are vulnerabilities. There was an Android vulnerability like 3 or 4 years ago with some of the wallets, and they had to update. If you run a certain particular Android, I forget which operating system, but anything before 2013, you can't really run safely a Bitcoin wallet simply because there's a backdoor vulnerability that is not the part of the wallet developers, but has to do with the Android operating system. So that's it. That's my rant. That's my thought. Maybe we need to rethink about hard forks and getting these updates going and getting this protocol moving forward. Wish the miners would just scoop up all the fees instead of just cherry picking and going for the highest ones. Just scoop them all up. Money's money. Just scoop them all up. But they have their own economic interests, I guess, and that's just part of the Bitcoin consensus. So, thank you for listening. Like and subscribe. There's links in the show notes, as well as ways you can help contribute. I still am doing the Good Work program where I am donating books to the library about Bitcoin. Mastering Bitcoin should get here tomorrow. I'm going to drop that off in the library box. I have a couple more books that are coming out this week, and trying to get, for January 2018, getting many Bitcoin books in the library system so that people can, self-educate themselves, have another avenue to, financial freedom. So, to the moon.